November 4th. It is 5:30 on the dot. We are going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Vincennes Historic Review Board to order. In attendance, we have myself, Elizabeth, Sarah Friends, and Mike, with Sarah Wolf absent. We do not currently have any, oh, wait, I'm sorry, we need to, did everyone have a chance to look over the minutes? We'll need an approval for the last meeting's minutes from October 7th. This was, Harmony Society was doing their front door stuff, and then 701 Bunton Street. If everyone is okay with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Sarah, need a second.
I wasn't here.
Yeah. And Mike second, all those in favor? Aye, the ayes have it. We do not have any old business on the agenda, so we are gonna jump straight into the new business. I think Joe is not here, so we are gonna jump straight into Vinyl Pies Pizza. Goss family, come on up. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you guys?
Good, real good.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Happy to be in Vincennes here on this lovely Tuesday night. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your evenings and after your work day or whatever you did today to do this. So we're talking about the 116 Main Street property. It's just kind of around the corner right here. You can see it from the bridge and some of these great monuments in town. And as you can see from what you have in front of you, what we want to do is install that garage door that we believe when we install it will be in line with some of the historic regulations for the district, and also create a more warm, inviting, and welcoming space in one of downtown's most visible, highly trafficked areas. So the goal with this project is to maintain that 116 Main Street property's historic character while introducing reversible, energy-efficient improvement that enhances visibility, accessibility, and engagement with Main Street, people who come to work, travel, and visit Vincennes, or live in Vincennes as well, of course. The proposed installation would carefully align the city's historic district ordinance and the guiding standards for compatible rehabilitation. First, we're planning to make sure to preserve the historic structure of that building itself, one of the oldest city blocks in the state of Indiana. The new door will fit entirely within the existing masonry opening, so we're not gonna get into where the Grays, it's the old Grays 1885 building. We're not gonna touch the signage, we're not gonna go into that, or so that molding that's right above there. We're not planning to widen the bay, lower the sill, alter any of the original architectural elements that make it a historic structure and sort of present it as such. This approach would maintain the historic rhythm that defines the streetscape along Main Street. Second, the new system is designed to read as a traditional storefront, no kind of crazy colors, nothing out of the ordinary, black, match everything already on the building and some of those surrounding buildings. It would not look like a garage door like you might have at home. It would be a glass garage door where you could see in and out in accordance with city regulations that 70% of your street-facing facades on the first floor have see-through glass to maintain that historic feeling. So again, not a traditional garage door. The proportions, layout, materials will all reflect the visual language of historic storefronts, helping to blend seamlessly with its neighboring facades. Third, regarding the materials and finish, we're proposing a narrow style aluminum, probably black finish, unless you guys had input on that or other ideas. I thought black was the most natural matching color for the street and the district. That would also match the existing storefront color. The glazing will be clear and non-reflective, never tinted or mirrored, ensuring transparency and an authentic appearance consistent with both the city's ordinances and the district's character. These choices directly address the city's standards for compatible materials, texture, and color. From the street, the installation will appear as a fixed storefront when closed, consistent with the city's emphasis on preserving visible historic characteristics. Fifth, the entire system in itself will be fully reversible, completely reversible, which goes back to what I said about not changing the main structure of the building, not getting into the second floor, not having the garage door go straight up into where there's currently an apartment Airbnb situation. Will be anchored with as minimal as possible, repairable fasteners that can be removed without damaging the masonry or framing of the building. If a future owner ever wishes to restore the building to its original condition, the opening can be returned to its previous form with ease. And I will just say, biggest reason that we want to do this, other than the logistics of having to move a pizza oven in and out, which if you guys have ever seen a bona fide brick oven, wood-fired pizza oven, it's large and you can't really take it apart. So not only would moving it in be an issue, you'd have to tear out the whole front facade. Anytime you had to make repairs or otherwise take it out, replace it, you'd be doing that again and again. And ideally they last, decades, that you have to go without replacing, but things happen and accidents can occur. And so you always want to have the ability to do that without having to tear out the front facade and cause more issues on that main street. And then, finally, and this is the biggest thing to us, alongside the movability and compatibility with the pizza oven. The feature will serve primarily as a seasonal open-air element, allowing more interaction with the public during good weather like we had today, and supporting the growing energy of downtown Vincennes. When closed, it will continue to read as a traditional storefront with consistent lighting and presentation in keeping with the surrounding district. Again, there's so many wonderful things that are happening down there in that Patrick Henry Square area and near the monument and stuff throughout the year, and even outside of the summer season. But when you have the summer season, you have these street festivals, and this would just give people, again, visiting or living in Vincennes one more option, one more charismatic business to frequent, and give them a reason to come back to this really special city. So overall, this project will help bring more life and activity to Main Street while maintaining full respect for the building's architectural history and the character of the historic district. This proposal preserves the historic fabric, mirrors traditional storefront designs, and conceals modern elements, and remains fully reversible for future stewards of the property. We believe it strengthens both the building's utility, and the historic district's overall appeal to both visitors and residents. Thank you for your consideration. I'll stand by for questions.
Thank you. I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should have led with that. It's it's Austin Goss. Me and my family own Vinyl Pies Pizza.
Austin, thank you so much for doing your homework.
Yeah, I tried.
Awesome introduction and
Thank you.
explanation. And in fact, you covered like all the questions that I
I have one.
I'm here for questions, and I'm sure the
one.
audience wants to hear your questions as well. So I'll take all of them.
No, I'm excited. And, I was going to say, just for the record as well, we do stream the
Yes, sir.
the meetings, and we
No,
take
that's great.
records and
I'm glad you
meetings and
guys do
stuff.
that.
But for anyone that is watching or for future reference, these are, I don't think we should call them garage doors. It's not a garage door, right? It's a pass door is what they call it.
And I like your choice of words. I should have had you write my spiel. So
I guarantee it would not have been as good.
well, that's good.
But yeah, I think your focus on maintaining the existing structure and not altering any of the significant architectural details, stuff like that, is huge. And really, the way you guys are doing it, there's only the one. When you look at the front of the building, there's only one column that we're looking at really adjusting here, and it's the one just on the right side of the door.
Right, and it's most garage doors are traditionally, and I was just out there with Wolf Construction,
door.
yeah, one of the great contractors here in the Vincennes area. It's traditional garage doors, about 7'9". We measured it; it fits within the kind of drawing, this very rudimentary drawing that I provided you guys. It kind of looks like my son did it, but it's still very good. But you can kind of see what we're looking at, and again, we really kind of getting back to what I said before. We don't want to mess with the bricks too much. Tear up the front of the building as much as possible. We want a real clean finish that matches the character of the existing building as it is. That is reversible if anyone ever wanted to go that route.
So the window, looking at the front of it, the window on the left will remain there, or will that size change?
That would remain there, and I think that we would probably keep it at the same size. And again, I'd be open to suggestions or ideas on that.
Okay, and then, so it'll kind of start where the current passenger door is now?
Yes, that's basically it. We were just out there measuring it, me and one of the contractors from Wolf. And essentially, if you measure from where the right window starts, the 9 feet or 7 feet, one of the two, where it would come out to about is almost exactly where the current walk-through door ends, almost exactly.
So neither post on either side would be moved?
No.
And it will not get into the black portion where the gray signage is?
No,
The wood structure
no,
there?
and it's fully our intention to put our own signage up there, and that's
Right,
such
right.
and we don't want to mess with that. Again, for the historical preservation and just the idealistic, that's a very nice spot for signage. We like the black finish. We wouldn't want to mess with that at all.
Okay, yeah, because we don't want that to change.
No.
From the inside without putting up a rail, you know what I mean?
You know, the one other concern, I was talking to Brad, who's been very helpful throughout this whole process, I heard was potential future owners turning it into some kind of a parking garage. You know, I would just say for that point, you know, firstly, the sidewalk there is not sloped for that to happen. Secondly, I really believe, you know, it would be fully our intention if this project were to work, this proposal were to be approved and everything went well. We're really trying to cross our T's and dot our I's here, being here tonight. But, you know, it would be my hope that in the event we were successful, that we wouldn't leave. Secondly, that, you know, in the event we did and we sold the building, whoever bought it would see the value in having a really nice finished glass garage door on one of the most popular streets in Indiana's oldest city, which has a number of attractions and things that bring people to town.
I just had a question about, you mentioned open air events where you would sometimes have it open.
Yeah, you know, on a day where again, like an evening like tonight, where the weather is really nice and,
Yeah.
you know, people would want to have it open. And it's a small space, but I think
It's-
just having that.
If the floor height is higher than the sidewalk height, you could get into a safety issue. You notice that Procopio's has that fence around his for that reason.
Sure.
He's had to build his out because the floor height was higher than the sidewalk.
No, absolutely, and we've
Then you
certainly.
get, you know, so you may have an issue there with being able to keep it open.
No, and we would address that in turn. Of course, we're very familiar. with-
Remove, like
Yeah.
a removable gate or something, I
Yeah,
guess.
or, you know, if
There's
we had
things you
to-
could do.
Where the door would be if we had to slope that entrance so that people could walk in and not have to take a step up. I mean, beyond the handicap concern, of course, which we have just like you, we wouldn't want people who are otherwise not handicapped to miss that step and stumble. That would be
Yeah.
a very bad first impression for any business. So, you know, we would address that in turn, and certainly it would be bad for business for us to have
But
a.
his is built up quite a bit in order to come up level with the floor
Mhm.
and out over half the sidewalk. And then he had to put a fence in because they were still a step down that people could fall over.
Yes, ma'am. And, you know, like I said, I you know, without having torn the front of the building out.
Yeah, once you tear it out, that's
Yeah,
where you're
you'll
gonna find
know.
that stuff out.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say with total certainty right now, but you know, it's not in our interest, just like it's not in your guys' interest to have it where people have to take a risk on taking a step on something they can't see. We would address that in turn. And again, we want to fully cooperate and make this a space that not just we, but the city of Vincennes can be very proud of. And so whatever that takes, we'd be willing to do it.
Your choice of colors and materials in line with other buildings on
Yeah,
Main
I'm-
Street
I'm
and in
fine
the
with
historic
the way it
districts,
looks.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I would ask, and you'd mentioned making it reversible and the types of fasteners used and so on. If we could, just keep the old brick.
We would keep the,
throw
as
it in
much
the
as possible.
basement or something.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have been in there, but the basement's very large. So there's quite a
Just,
bit of space
in-
for some
you know,
bricks.
in case someone does wanna change
No,
it back,
absolutely,
same
yeah,
thing,
we'd throw it
so.
down there and keep it, that's no issue. And I mean, in the event we ever, if some of the bricks on the front ever needed replaced for us,
Yeah,
even
of
at the top,
course.
we would
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
have an interest in keeping the bricks for ourselves, so.
I gotta tell you, I know when Brad first sent it over, I was a little dubious, but with the explanation and the pictures, I'm good, I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, and,
I appreciate you doing your due
It looks like it'd be
diligence.
fun, and I think we need a little more fun.
I've been,
In the town.
we've lived in small towns our whole lives, and I got here early today to be able to walk around, and just feel out, because this is still very much in the exploratory phase. We wanted to talk to you guys and see if this is possible before we went ahead and bought the building. And in the same way, I've tried to make a point, as have my parents, to walk around and talk to people in Vincennes, and just get a feel for what the reception would be. And we've looked at a lot of places, between me and my parents, probably about a dozen across kind of the Midwest, in Indiana, out of Indiana, Kentucky, and this was a place that we felt really good about. There's a lot of pride here, and you can feel it when you go and visit the old theater that got converted to, you guys name it, now I can't think of it, but right across, yeah, there you go.
Pantheon, everything.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of pride, and you can feel that when you are here. And you know, I certainly like being a part of living in a small town. My family likes living in small towns. That's where our first one is. And you know, I want this to be an asset and a place that people here would be proud of. In the God willing that it all works out. But yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, and
Mike,
it's
you got any
not
questions?
massive.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I have some comments too. Well, considering that we're the Historic Review Board, I don't see how we're retaining any historic facade look with this modern aluminum glass. I think it's gonna,
I think for me, it's a compromise. You know, when you look at some of the other buildings where we've had similar requests, that, I mean, I know we call it a modern style, but basically the smooth metal, it's a black color. It matches in with the other trim pieces and the other windows that are along Main Street, especially around the corner around Procopio's, for instance. I think that style of window is probably the best compromise, short of putting in, you know, wood frames again, you know? And I'm not sure that would be feasible in this kind of instance.
Procopio's looks
vinyl
good.
window.
She's got it on her building too.
Or
It
a
looks
vinyl
good.
window.
Yeah, or vinyl.
Well, since that's, you know, you brought up the fact that it is a historic block, I just think it takes away from the whole block then, if you have something like this. To me, it doesn't fit in. That's my opinion.
Okay.
And the aluminum is, you know, you're talking about aluminum and that's not, I wouldn't consider that a historic, material. To tear out the brick and put in aluminum.
We'd be open to material suggestions.
Appreciate that.
I just don't think it fits in on that block of buildings.
I'm gonna
You know,
look
I
down
would,
the- Here, show them that real quick. So this is just 2 doors down. It's the Bible bookstore, and it's like bright white vinyl.
I don't,
I think the option they're presenting here, if you look at the Procopio's building, is arguably better than the one that
Yeah.
they've got in there.
I walked around town and looked at different places that had it. Your building has it, that black steel on the front, and Procopio's does. And down on, just past Hart Street, there's 2 old brick buildings that have it, and it looks very nice, so. You
Yes,
know,
well, that's just my
I
opinion.
was concerned at first, but I looked at the other buildings where it looked very nice. And other cities, Memphis, Chicago,
Yeah, I
Indianapolis.
mean,
you
there's
see,
up and even just
you know, where they've done the same thing. They've taken a
Lawrenceburg
garage in
has
front of
very
mainly for restaurants and bars.
that.
comparable structures. Terre Haute has comparable structures. I mean, several. I mean, there you can find similar
That's,
buildings and
I've been
structures
in
in
there for
Washington
so
D.C.,
long.
the nation's capital.
Sounds
You know, and I would just suggest, and certainly I wouldn't tell you guys how to do your job. That's why I'm here tonight. But you know, there's a balance between development and maintaining history, and I can tell you, as much as anyone, I love history. I mean, that's what attracted us to this town. We were super excited about the fact that Grouseland is here. As a big fan of presidential history, we were fascinated by that. We were fascinated by the territorial capital, and it would never be our intention to uproot the history, but rather to maintain it in a way that looks forward and develops Vincennes into the future and provides a space that, again, people can be proud of and utilize.
Almost every building, the facade has been
altered.
altered.
And I just, especially if the one window on the left is staying basically there, and you still have that brick, it's not gonna change that much. Take the awning out and that door out.
And it will add a bit of fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to have something.
I mean, when I look down at what they did to the brewery, and that.
There is a lot of pizza places in town. I
And
guess
that-
every town does.
I
Every
would
town has
just,
lots
if I could pitch our product a little bit, I would say that it's a little different. I mean, again, the wood fire element. We do beer wine.
Yeah.
We don't do liquor, but we do beer wine. Again, the vinyl is sort of a play on old music. If you look at our menu, a lot of the pizza selections, and I would encourage you to do so if you just look up Vinyl Pies Pizza.
Do
and-
do you have wine and beer, or?
We do wine and beer. We don't like to do liquor typically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, I would say that the product and the experience overall are different than what is currently available in town, and I think, again, given the location, would present a different opportunity and site for pizza. I mean, every town has pizza, right? I mean, you
Right.
could go get Casey's Pizza, you could go up to the gas station and get Godfather's Pizza. I could come back here in the next hour with 7 different pizzas. But we believe in our product, and we believe the experience is a very different one that people will lean into, especially in a small, proud community like Vincennes.
Mike, what else you got? I appreciate the comments.
That's it. I'm just concerned about how it's gonna attract or detract from that whole block of facades. You're gonna put something that my opinion is just too modern for that area. And I realize that other buildings have had the same thing done, but that doesn't mean that, where do we draw the line, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've always tried to stay away from precedent's influencing us anyway.
Exactly.
You know, there've been so many changes over the years
Well,
for a number of reasons.
then where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, like what they did down at the brewery when they put that door in the front. Can you see, pass that down,
Where's that at?
down on the corner?
few
They
doors
did,
down
you
to
know,
the
that
right.
window and
The
they had to
brewery,
add
yeah.
the additional
There's the brewery.
exit. I think that's atrocious.
Well, and I, with all due respect too, I mean, you could drive one block up and there's boarded up buildings. I would think that the
That's
garage
right.
door would be with a proud local business would be a solid alternative to that.
Oh, hey, in Google Earth, I think that's Brenda's vehicle.
And I don't recall that being approved by us.
I don't recollect that either. But anyway.
I think what
Well-
he's gonna do will be much more attractive, and I don't think it'll be that. big of a change.
There's a very similar, I mean, you could rattle off, there's so many places that have done this with success, and I think offered a really neat opportunity in the hospitality industry and the places there are. I mean, there's places like this near where I live in Bloomington, they're in Greencastle, you know, where DePaul University is, and I think they add a neat level of interaction with the public, especially in that spot where you have those summer festivals. I mean, you know, you get on the Knox County Economic Development website, and the first thing you see, the first image that pops up is the 4th of July with everybody out there watching fireworks. And there's not a lot of outdoor spaces right there. There's not. And that's, you know, we really want to add that. We really think it would be a neat addition to the community. And again, I think what we are proposing balances some of the historical aspects, especially with the interior and frankly the exterior, while allowing Vincennes to develop in the way that I have gathered it wants to when I walk around downtown and when I speak to officials here in the area.
That's the Procopios.
Yeah, and that's where he's built that up to
Yeah,
be
show
at the
Mike
level
for
of
me,
his
will you?
floor.
Like, I don't know why that shows up shiny in the image. That's Procopios. It's similar,
look shiny.
similar deal. I think it's just the reflective for the camera, cause his windows are not reflective there, but.
I would just, as far as modern too, we keep talking about Procopios and I don't want to put them down, of course. I think our building would still look a lot less modern than that, and I don't think that's a slight at all. I think it's a really nice, clean finish, but I still think even with the front roll-up door, it would look a lot less modern.
All right, Mike, you got anything else?
No,
No?
that's it.
All righty, well, Austin, appreciate you coming, before us here. Guys, I will throw out a motion to approve as presented. For me, I think it's acceptable, and the fact that it's reversible, pretty easily is a big deal for me, just in case. You never can tell what other people are gonna do, so. Yeah. Motion to approve is presented. Second from Elizabeth. All those in favor? Aye. And those against?
Mike,
Need a verbal, Mike?
Me,
Mike is a nay. Alrighty, so we have 3 yeas, 1 nay with Mike, and with Sarah Wolf not here, so, yeah. Motion passes. Austin, thank you, sir.
Yeah, hey,
Appreciate it.
thank you guys so much. I
And,
really, again, I just can't compliment you guys enough for how seamless this has been, and
No, that's all Brad and his folks, no
Yeah,
doubt.
it really is. Brad deserves a raise if you can advocate for that.
We'll be sure to let the mayor know.
Yeah, I'll let him know too. But no, we really appreciate it if you just pray for me and my family as we sort of pursue this enterprise. We really love Vincennes so far. I think this would be a really great fit here, and I hope you guys can see that beyond the garage door discussion. And God willing, it works out. You guys are all welcome down there, and I'll make sure of it. So.
Be excited for you, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Alrighty, folks, we have one more application in front of us. This is for DAR over at the William Henry Harrison House. And they are looking to build a porch on the left side of the property as you're facing it. This is, let's see, Joe Kanowski is the contractor, it looks like, and also the representative. He was not able to make it tonight, apparently, which I think is fine. I mean, it does mean we don't have anyone to ask questions.
We don't know what it looks like or anything.
Yeah, we don't really have an idea of what it looks like or anything like that.
The fact that it's
So-
a restoration company is
Yeah, I'd say it does have a couple of
It's
things
helpful.
is going for it. One, I have no doubt at all that the DAR have,
well, and Lisa's not gonna let him do anything to butcher it. I
yes,
wouldn't think.
this is gonna be a project that,
With his phone number there, could you call him to ask him questions?
yeah, we probably could call.
This
Although
is-
I'm not sure it's gonna be anything he's gonna be able to send over now. I mean, I was hoping for, maybe just a visual aid of some kind,
Maybe
but.
if he could tell you what materials are gonna be used, if they're staining, colors.
You know, we could, honestly, I'd be tempted to, I mean, knowing that it's the DAR, and knowing that it's a restoration company, in particular the DAR's past efforts and, you know, focus on, you know, historic preservation and accuracy and so on. I mean, could we do some kind, like a gentleman's agreement that, you know, we don't wanna hold them up necessarily, but they could proceed, but they probably need to give us a bit more information, particularly a visual aid, I think, some kind of, something like that, I mean, is my thoughts.
Yeah, I would assume that, yeah, the DAR usually does its due diligence and has everything.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
imagine them doing anything
yeah.
that wasn't
No.
like
Don't
the
cross
most historically accurate ever, but,
And,
as much as an ADA ramp can be. But I think we probably,
I'm
personally, I
surprised
think
they've
we
gotten
would.
away without it for this long. You know, every place that I've visited has had that little, you know, side entrance.
Yeah.
Do we know, are they
Well, I see,
waiting to
we
get
don't even
started,
know how
Brett?
big it's gonna
Office.
be or anything.
They were wanting to get started immediately, that's why.
Probably it's gonna include
Mrs. Jones
an elevator
contacted
to
the
the
mayor
second
to
floor,
see
or
if
is
we
it-
could
or-
get him on
I
this
think there already
meeting
is
here.
one.
Okay.
Is there?
I guess there's always
I
a
have a
chance,
list.
is he on, where are they out of? Oh, they're Eastern Time,
Columbus.
Ohio.
Yeah. So Columbus.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not particularly inclined to call him necessarily. I mean, he could walk us through some things, but I think we really need a visual aid to do it. But I'd be tempted to give him a gentleman's agreement to proceed if they want to. They've got a window of opportunity. But send us some more documentation to look over and have a
Okay.
representative here, but.
I'll work on that
Material,
tomorrow and see
color,
if I can get some-
size.
Yeah, size, I mean, it's 75 grand, so.
Yeah.
I feel like
It
that's a
doesn't
pretty,
go to
a
the
pretty
second.
substantial
Can't be
porch.
that big.
I don't know, for a porch, right? I mean, it's an ADA ramp, I guess, but 75 grand seems a lot for that. So, I mean, in my mind, they're gonna build something nice, so. So would we just do a motion for a gentleman's agreement and then ask for, all right,
We could do that, have them send us some information and then
Yeah,
kinda get the final approval at the next meeting.
yeah, I think, yeah, I'll,
Or just email
Email
us
it to
and,
us.
and let us
look it over.
say yay or nay.
Yeah, I think I will make a motion that, you know, given DAR's history and mindfulness when it comes to historic preservation and so on, and the company doing the work, I would be inclined to make a motion for a gentleman's agreement for them to proceed, but we do need some more documentation, visual aids, materials, colors, design, all that kind of stuff for the next meeting, and we'll give it a formal approval, but at least we won't hold them up right now.
I will work on that.
All right, that's the motion. Need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Elizabeth. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All right, the ayes have it.
So you're saying that, they're gonna supply us with some diagrams or photos or something of what the
Exactly right, yeah. But we're gonna do a gentleman's agreement just because of the
Right.
history and who's doing it, that they can proceed, but, yeah, they gotta give us something, so.
They're usually sticklers for correctness.
Yeah, alrighty, well, that was our last piece of business for this meeting, so, Brad, unless we got anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, anyone?
I'll motion.
Alright, motion by Elizabeth, need a second,
One second.
second by Mike, all in favor?